I'm not even sure how to start this without sounding a little frustrated, because what's happening in NASCAR right now feels like one of those moments that could actually shape the future of the sport. And today, we're not just talking about one story, or even two, we've got 3 different storylines, all connected to the same situation. And trust me, each one hits a little differently. There's clearly something going on behind the scenes. Fans are divided, drivers are being questioned, and it's sparking a much bigger conversation about what NASCAR really wants its future to look like. And the wild part? Depending on how you look at it, this could either be the right decision or a massive missed opportunity. So we're going to break it all down step by step, what happened, what it really means, and why this might be bigger than it looks on the surface. But before we get into it, if you're a true NASCAR fan who lives and breathes this sport every week, make sure to like and subscribe. This channel is brand new, and we're pushing toward 15,000 subscribers with real, honest, fan-to-fan conversations. All right, let's get into it. Because this situation revolves around a name a lot of people didn't expect to see at the center of NASCAR headlines, Cleetus McFarland, also known as Garrett Mitchell, here's what happened. Cleetus was planning to run the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race at Talladega Superspeedway later this month, driving a Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. That's a huge opportunity. Talladega isn't just any track, it's one of the fastest and most intense superspeedways in the sport. Getting approval to race there is a big deal. But NASCAR stepped in and said no. They officially denied his approval to run superspeedway races in the O'Reilly Series for now. And this comes right after his debut at Rockingham Speedway, where things didn't exactly go smoothly. Cleetus finished 32nd, 6 laps behind the winner, William Sawalich. But it wasn't just the result, it was how the race played out. He had multiple incidents, spun out more than once, and even admitted himself that he nearly lost control several times. An early 3-wide move went wrong. He got loose, and from there, it turned into a chaotic night. He didn't hide from it either. He called NASCAR's decision a kick in the nuts, but also owned it, saying he still has a lot to learn, and honestly, that tells you he understands exactly where he stands. NASCAR, through John Probst, made it clear this wasn't personal. They said they respect Cleetus, appreciate what he brings to the sport, and recognize the audience he attracts. But they want to see more from him before putting him in a high-risk environment like Talladega. And if you're a fan, you understand why. Talladega is not a place to learn on the fly. That's pack racing at nearly 200 miles per hour. One mistake doesn't just affect you, it can take out half the field. So NASCAR's message is simple: prove it first. Right now, Cleetus is approved to run in the ARCA Menard Series, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and short tracks in the O'Reilly Series. The door isn't closed, it's just not fully open yet. And when you look at his experience, it makes sense. He has only one Truck Series start this season at Daytona International Speedway, which ended in a crash on lap 6, finishing last. In ARCA, though, things look more promising. He has 2 top 1-0 finishes in 5 starts, including a 4th-place run in the ARCA Menard Series East race at Rockingham. So yes, the potential is there, but at the national NASCAR level, he's still learning. Even Cleetus said it himself. He needs more windshield time, more laps, more experience, more time behind the wheel before jumping into the deep end at tracks like Daytona or Talladega. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Because this isn't just about one driver being denied, that leads us to the bigger conversation. Cleetus McFarland isn't just another rookie. He's a content creator with over 4.7 million YouTube subscribers. That's a massive audience NASCAR has been trying to reach for years. Alongside him, you've got Squirrel McNutt, another rising personality stepping into ARCA competition, and building his own following. These guys bring something NASCAR has been missing: raw personality, authenticity, and a younger audience that genuinely connects with them. To put it into perspective, Cleetus is pulling viewership numbers close to major race broadcasts. His reach rivals events like the Daytona races across different series. That's huge. And people inside the sport are starting to ask a serious question: is this the future of NASCAR? You've even got names like Greg Biffle, a veteran who had been mentoring Cleetus, showing how real this transition into NASCAR has been. But here's the reality: the learning curve is brutal. Cleetus has fewer than 500 total laps across ARCA and Truck Series competition. That's nothing compared to drivers who have spent years grinding to reach this level. And the same goes for Squirrel McNutt. His ARCA East debut showed just how tough this jump really is. So yes, the hype is real, but so is the challenge. Right now, NASCAR is balancing two things. On one side, you have exposure, new fans, and fresh energy. On the other, you have safety, performance, and competitive integrity. And that's why this decision hits so hard. Because depending on your perspective, NASCAR either protected the sport or slowed down something that could help it grow. Now zoom out for a second. This moment says a lot about where NASCAR is today. You've got drivers like Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, and Chase Elliott leading the competitive side of the sport. At the same time, you've got personalities like Cleetus McFarland bringing in an entirely new audience. Fans who may have never watched a full race before, but are now paying attention. And NASCAR has to figure out how those two worlds come together. Because the truth is, racing alone isn't enough anymore. Fans want personalities. They want authenticity. They want drivers they can relate to, not just polished sponsor talk and corporate answers. That's part of why Ross Chastain stood out so much before things became more controlled. And that's exactly what Cleetus represents, whether people like it or not. So maybe he's not ready for Talladega yet. But the bigger question is, what happens when he is? Because if he figures it out, and that's a big if, this could open the door to a completely new era of NASCAR. An era where drivers don't just come from traditional paths, but bring millions of fans with them. And that's something the sport can't ignore. At the end of the day, this decision doesn't end anything, it just delays it. Cleetus is still racing, still learning, and NASCAR made it clear they're watching. Now it's on him to prove he belongs. And you can bet fans will be watching every lap he runs from here on out. So now I want to hear from you. Did NASCAR make the right call keeping him out of Talladega, or should they have let him take the shot? Because, honestly, there's no easy answer here. On one hand, safety comes first. You can't throw someone into Talladega without enough experience. Even veteran drivers get caught in massive wrecks there. But on the other hand, NASCAR has been searching for new energy and new fans for years, and Cleetus is bringing exactly that. So both sides have a point. The real question is, what happens next? If he keeps racing, improves, and proves himself, then this decision will look smart. It builds him the right way. But if NASCAR keeps holding him back even after he's ready, then the conversation changes. Because the sport needs personalities like him, not just for competition, but for connection. At the end of the day, this is a long game. Cleetus said it himself, he needs more windshield time. And he's right. Talent and passion matter, but experience is something you can't skip in NASCAR. Now it's up to him to learn, improve, and come back stronger. And if he eventually gets another shot at Daytona or Talladega, that moment is going to hit differently for every fan who's been following this journey. That's why this situation matters. It's not just about one race, it's about the future of NASCAR. So let me know your thoughts. Are you on NASCAR's side, or should they have taken the risk?